What's up, guys? So I'm about to do a cam swap on the Avalanche. I already did a cam swap to the sloppy stage 2 cam. It's a 228 230. It's pretty rowdy, 112 LSA, and I think it's 585 lift or something like that. So I went with like a nice 6 thousandths or 60 thousandths lift spring there, and I don't know. It's just too much cam for this truck. The truck's 6,000 pounds, and it's a dog. And I didn't put a converter in it, so I just decided that I'm gonna take the cam out, because I mean, I do drive this thing often, and with gas prices the way they are, and I think this cam is supposed to make more power down low everywhere. I mean, it just seems like there's no downsides to it overall. Any one of those problems is no big deal, but to have all those problems and I have no brakes, the vacuum's terrible, I would need to do like a hydro boost conversion. There's just a lot of reasons why I'm not going to run this cam. I'm going to take it out. So yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. I've already done this before, so I'm just going to get to it here and start tearing it down. But I wanted to fire it up and let it idle so you guys could hear the sloppy stage 2, because it does have a really good idle. But I'm sure the other cam will chop too. I've heard him chop, so I'm sure it'll be just fine. And I'll have brakes and stuff. Now this is kind of a warm start. I drove the truck earlier. Now it's pretty quiet because I got the whole exhaust system is all through a stock truck exhaust here off of a 2020 6.2 Silverado. So it's kind of a whole stock exhaust. So the only noise you hear is a little bit of leak out of the cutout and a little bit from back here, but there's dual resonators too. So pretty quiet. But when the cutout opens, it definitely chops pretty good. But this is what it sounds like with the current settings with the sloppy stage 2 on a warm start. And I'll close it. It's pretty hot out today. This is 102, so that's pretty toasty. So I'm gonna try to get this thing pulled in the garage and get it torn apart before it gets too much heat in it. All right, everybody. So here's what we're doing. We gotta yank this thing apart. I'm gonna try to take apart as few things as possible. Intercooler piping's gotta come off. Unplug the intake air temperature sensor here. Try to get it to unplug without breaking the clip, and yep, there we go. I'm going to try to undo right off the throttle body and this one down in here as well, and then I'm going to try to pull off the lower radiator hose and or the two hoses that come off of the water pump housing down there. So I got to pull the water pump off, so I'm going to do that and pull the belt and all the other stuff over here. So just got to basically pull the whole front off. And I have a puller. I'm not sure if it's going to work. If it doesn't end up working, then that's fine. I'll just bring the puller home from work. But I'd like to get it torn down tonight. That'd be pretty cool if I had it all apart. I think I can do that. I don't think I have to drain the oil pan to do it. I think I'll be okay just taking the front cover off. But yeah, I don't remember. Anyway, I'm going to start tearing into it. It's not that much work. So these are the specs of the truck Norris cam. Yeah, I think I said before 60 thousandths. That's not what I meant. That's the exhaust duration at 50 thousandths. It's actually 0.553, and that measurement's in inches. So I'm kind of a noob when it comes to these types of things. I mean, I understand what I'm doing. I understand what the cam does, but as far as specs and everything, it's, I get it. Lift duration, lobe separation angle. I understand how it all works, but the denominations for the measurements is, that doesn't really matter. As long as you know what a big cam is and what a small cam is, that stuff doesn't matter that much. Anyway, I'm gonna get to work. infamous trick, guys. I'm sure you've all heard of it. The trick to swapping your cam without pulling the heads, which is what everybody does. I don't know why you would pull the heads unless you were like really anal about changing your lifters, but we're just gonna send it. If we get a lifter that fails, I'll change it then. So what I do is we spin this over, make sure that all the lifters are up in their trays. Obviously, you have the rocker covers off, valve covers, and all the rockers are off, just so that we don't have anything pushing down on the lifters. The push rods are all out too. We got nothing on top of the lifters. You'll hear them click up when you do this. They haven't come back down, and I don't think that they would, but we use the dowels just to be sure of it. And go in here like this, and you just spin this over, and these dowels fit pretty tight in here. And it's definitely a tight fit. Tighter than I remember. Make sure they're all up. I gotta use 2 hands for this. There we go. Bottom that one up. And this one too. And this is to wedge it. So hopefully that wedged all the lifters up in the trays. When we pull that out, we shouldn't have any issues. That should theoretically hold all the lifters in the tray. So now is when we do the little hot swap. So it does say truck Norris. Got the specs on it. This cam is really nicely ground. It's not sharp or anything like that. It's much nicer than the one I'm taking out. And I know it will make a difference, but it is going to be nice to put this in here. I'm going to try to put a little bit of oil on here. As you pull the cam all the way out, you have to remove the water pump bolts because it won't come all the way out with the condenser. So I'll do that, and just trying to do it as quickly as possible without without any issues, and not dropping a lifter, because that would turn into a much bigger job. But we're not going to do that. It'll be fine. So I'm just going to slam this guy in the hole here, and I might put a little bit of something on him first, just a little bit of something to lube it up, so when it goes in, it's got something on it. Maybe a little bit of Lucas oil. There you go. So, a wise man once said, "Don't look at your cam bearings, or else they'll be bad." So I try to avoid looking at the cam bearings. I don't want them to be bad. That one's out. Sloppy stage 2 is out. Yo. What's up, dude? Getting all gooey here.
Really rubbing your shaft.
Listen, if your shaft is not properly oiled, you're gonna have a dry start.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, that's what you want. Alright. Once you get into a certain point, get the water pump bolts back in there. Oh, the GoPro took a dive. That's it. They're not gonna see anymore. My hands are all oily. They're missing it, Jake. They're missing it. Alright, so I figured we could recap at this point. It's the following day. I got some more tools to finish the job, and I have more time. It got pretty late on me last night. So we're going at it again today, and what I've done is remove the valve covers along with the rockers in order to get at all the springs. Normally this is when you'd be changing springs during your swap, but I already changed them, and I didn't even need this crazy of a spring for this thing, so those springs are way overkill for this lift. This cam is not that much lift. You could probably even get by with stock springs, but regardless, it's good to take that all off so it's not pushing down on any of the lifters. You have to do that because at some point in the rotation you'd be pushing down, and you can't have that. So you got to take them all out, and then, like I said before, see, the lifters are probably falling down at this point when you spin this guy. I didn't hear anything, so sounds like they're still up in there. That thing's really tight in there. That's all that Lucas oil I put on there. Anyway, we're going to torque down the cam plate. That's the next step, and then we'll time it. Make sure the timing marks line up. I put a little paint marker on them so we could get that to line up properly. So we're going to do all that, and then I think I'll clean this up a little bit and maybe put a little RTV in the corners like I had done before, because I think it was doing pretty good. I don't know if it was leaking. I see a little bit of something in the front. I think the oil pan being reused might be leaking, but I'd like to reseal the pan on this at some point. Not the first thing that I want to do to it, honestly. I got bigger fish to fry. So anyway, just going to do all that and buzz through there, and we'll start the reassembly. It's pretty much the reverse of what I already did, so I'm just going to try to throw some music on and jam, but that's that, guys. This is almost done, home stretch. Alright, so it's back together. I went ahead and just put coolant in it, because whatever, I'm sure it'll be fine. Famous last words, but I'm crossing my fingers. Hopefully I like the second cam swap, and we're going to fire this thing up, see how it sounds. Hopefully it sounds good. I'll probably do an oil change on it pretty soon. Let this cam break in for a couple days, and then change the oil. So that's that. I'm going to fire it up. Well, guys, I gotta say, I'm pretty happy. I don't think anybody will really be able to tell the difference. It sounds pretty much the same. It still chops. Still chops. Still stinks. Definitely still stinks. But it's still warming up. I definitely got to make some adjustments to the tune. But yeah, I'm just going to try to let it warm up a little bit. Make sure the coolant level looks good. I'll take it for a little ride. I could probably drop the idle down a little bit because I have such good vacuum. I really do have really good brakes. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. The fact that I'm going to have brakes. The belt's got a little coolant on it, so it's been squeaking. But I'm dousing it with water, trying to clean it off. It's been working a little bit. Waiting for the T-stat to open, and it'll drink some more coolant. But anyway, we're doing pretty good. Everything seems like it's cranking. Minimal valve tray noise, I noticed. You just gotta water the belt. There we go. Always helps. I don't know if that's a permanent solution, but it sounds great. Anyway, I'm happy. Cam swap, 2 nights it took me. It took me like 3 hours last night, and I don't know, 2 to 3 hours tonight. So like 5 hours, something like that. I really kind of just wung it. Reused everything. Probably shouldn't have reused like the cam sprocket bolts because one of them just kept spinning. It's definitely stretched, and I just sent it. It was really tight, but it was still spinning. Not yet torqued to spec, but I sent it. So if I have a problem, then you know not to do that. But otherwise, I think it's gonna be fine. Yeah, so I'm loving it. I'm just gonna let it warm up, like I said, and we'll go for a little ride. So we're out here driving. I've been just cruising, really. It sounds really good, guys. It drives good. I got way more low end. It really is a dramatic improvement from what it was. It was not very streetable before, and it just wasn't having a good time. You know what I'm saying? You were shaking all the time, and now it's great. And it pulls really good too. Yeah, the neighbors are not going to be too thrilled. At least it quiets right down when you close that cutout. Nobody knows it was you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Everybody's
It's like a stock vehicle.
Everybody's like, who was that? That wasn't that guy. That thing's so quiet. Anyway, this thing sounds pretty good, guys. I'll try to do, I kind of want to try to do a burnout, guys. I don't think it's going to do it. This thing's never done one, but I'm thinking that maybe, just maybe, with this cam, I can do one. So I'm gonna slow down over here. It would have been better with some cold tires. Let me see if I can get in this water right here. Nope. Still won't do it. It's so quiet with the cutout closed.
Yeah.
You can't even hear it.
Agreed.
But yeah, it feels good, guys. For the most part, I bought this cam so I could just drive normally, you know?
And you get your fuel economy back.
Yeah, and get my mileage back, which I'm totally wrecking right now. I wanted to reset the mileage here. I'm resetting it again because I trashed it.
Yeah,
I killed it. I did like 10 pulls. I've just been
Yeah, and it's at 7 miles per gallon.
I've been beating this thing up really hard. The trans temp is at 200. So I'm just gonna take a little stroll now, and we're gonna let her cool down.
All right, I'll buy that.
And that's a break-in period for your camshaft. Just beat the snot out of it.
Yeah, full throttle.
Full throttle everywhere, and hope everything holds together. And it did. So I guess it's a good cam. Thanks
Brian Tooley Racing. That thing's a champ. The truck.
Yeah,
Norris
that's
cam.
really cool. And I love the name too.
Yeah, the name's good. Truck Norris.
Truck Norris. That's a great name for a
seems like a great
camshaft, man.
cam. And I'm liking it.
Me too.
So far, so good.
I think it runs like a champ. I love it. And I'm a stock kind of guy, but I would rock this cam because it gives you the raspiness at idle, like you got something going on, but it drives normal, and you get a little bit of boost at low RPMs, right?
Yeah, it's a much better cruiser.
Yeah,
It just gets up to speed better.
It's a cruiser, yeah.
less throttle input
Yeah, I like it.
overall. Really nice.